Hello everyone, I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be doing my post-fight reaction to UFC Noche, and a little segment also on this video. I'll talk about how Canelo Crawford as well. All in all, UFC Noche was alright. There were some great finishes, some good fights, some not too exciting fights. In comparison to last week's card, this card was alright. I would give it a 6 or 7 out of 10. Like I said, that main event, though, was absolutely amazing. One of the best fights this year, without a doubt. And for sure, one of the greatest fights to end in 2 rounds I have ever seen, at least. But without further ado, let's get on to the post-fight show. First up, Danil Donchenko TKO's Ronaldo Rodrigo Sandinato in the first round. Boy, Donchenko looked absolutely fabulous. He won just about every aspect of this fight I can think of. Whether they were in the clinch, trading knees and elbows, whether they were in distance, striking range, Donchenko would just start intercepting Sandinato with slashing elbows constantly, or just charge in with the elbows. And it cut up Sandinato bad. I think it was the right side, right here, is where a lot of the blood was coming from. And even in the grappling, which I thought, if Sandinato were to win, he would at least have that. He took him down once, didn't do much. Donchenko immediately got up. And then in another moment, Donchenko was the one executing the better grappling and wrestling overall. My cat wanted to make a cameo there. But honestly, Donchenko was very impressive. He's only 24. I mean, the world's his oyster in terms of development and overall potential. And getting a win over Sandinato in the quickness he had was definitely impressive. He's a fun guy for sure. I could imagine, say, Billy Ray Goff or someone of those lines fighting him, or Kenny and Nzechukwu. Just imagine the Thai fighting style those two would have. That clinch game would be amazing. Just the elbows and knees all over. Yeah, it'd be bloody for sure. Sandinato, they might give him another chance. They usually give guys who lost the Ultimate Fighter a second chance as well. But we shall see. So all in all, that was probably one of the best debuts you can think of for Donchenko. Moving up on the card. Mansorin Rendon defeat Alice Pereira via split decision. 130-27 for Rendon, 129-28 for Pereira, and then 129-28 for Rendon. Terrible fight. Absolutely terrible fight. This just goes to show why you should not have a prospect who's 5-0 or 6-0. Oh, I can't at this point. Into the UFC without at least fighting some of the better organizations. Like, fight in LFA, fight in Invicta, or something along those lines. At least get that experience, because, I mean, Alice Pereira, she's big for this division, alright? She's not bad at defending takedowns, and can definitely have some good offensive grappling. But man, oh man, her striking was not up to par. She'd either, at distance, throw these long uppercuts from range that were never going to hit, or literally just swing a punch so wide she's turning in the back of her head to her opponent. It's rookie level shit here, people. It is rookie level. I understand she's literally as green as you can get with the amount of fights she has, but by God, most fighters at this level know to not overcommit and literally turn your head away from your opponent. I mean, Rendon wasn't much better. I mean, most of this fight, Pereira was just on her bicycle, circling, and most of the time, Rendon couldn't properly cut the cage, so she's just following. So most of what happened. Now, second round was pretty good. She had hurt Pereira and started laying on close range striking and just corralling Pereira. Eventually, she got her back and nearly got the rear naked choke, but the round ended and Pereira started to defend the choke better. By round 3, it was mostly Rendon's pressure. There was one really cool moment in this fight, though. I'll say Rendon hits Pereira, I think it was with a cross, and Pereira's mouth guard flies out of her mouth and out of the cage. I think it hit someone or really close to it. That was pretty hilarious, I'll say that. But Rendon, she keeps her UFC career alive for now, getting this win. Alice Pereira, they might give her another shot. I say don't. She needs much more experience. Like, stick to the regional MMA. But since they're at least going to give her another chance, I don't know, Melissa Martinez, if she's still fighting, or at least or no, wait, that's all strawweights. Oh my god, I'm trying to kill him. Oh man, if Tamir Svidal was still in the UFC, I'd say her, or someone in that bantamweight division that's a little bottom of the barrel. All in all, Rendon gets a win, but boy, Pereira looked terrible. Up on the card, Aline Correa defeats Alessandro Costa via TKO of the third round. Boy, I can't think of a better debut for Correa than this, especially on short notice against a guy who was like the 4-1 favorite. Correa was big in this fight. He looked so much bigger than I even thought he would. I knew he was a pretty big flyweight all the way for like bulk, not so much height, but damn. I know Costa's a short flyweight, like 5'4", but still he made him so much smaller. Especially in the grappling where he was just able to control and out-muscle Costa for majority of this fight. Second round was pretty cool, though Costa eventually gets like a tight waist and suplexes Correa over him and gets the back. But even then, Correa is not only fighting off like neck cranks and just in general the rear naked choke grips, but eventually he's able to get enough space to just turn and immediately go back into full guard with Costa. By the second round, it was pretty weird. Costa was saying like his foot was injured. All I could see was there was bleeding under the toes, so something had happened. Because you could kind of see Costa couldn't really move by the time the third round hit. Eventually, Correa just started laying waste to Costa. Now, if my memory serves, I think either Costa's corner throw in the towel, which I believe is what I saw happen, or the ref just stopped the play. But still, this is a great win by Correa against the guy in Costa who's only lost to ranked opposition. And, you know, fighting him on short notice and all that was great. Great. And apparently, like, Costa has a win, or sorry, Correa has a win over the one guy besides Charles Johnson to beat Josh Van. It was that knee I mentioned they had in the LFA. All I say, great win for Correa. Not sure what they give him at this point. Ode Osborne, that would just be cruel to Ode Osborne. Maybe Jesus Aguilar, who just won on this card. Or if they want to give Correa some time, they give him like Edgar Chavez or something like that. That'd be a good one. Moving up on the card, Zach Reese and Cedricus Dumas ended in a no contest after about 51 seconds. Zach Reese landed a shot to the groin of Cedricus Dumas, and he could not continue. Now, he could fake it, he could not. I can tell you this, nobody wants to get hit in the balls. And if he's telling the ref like he can't feel it, I'm inclined to believe him, just because it was full on kick to cup. There was no like, oh, it might have just hit the waistline, or it might have just grazed the cup when hitting the thigh. No. It was dead center. I mean, I feel bad for both Zach Reese and Dumas. You know, you never want to fight them that way, especially when they really didn't have much to show. Granted, I don't think Dumas is much UFC level. Reese is, I think, a level ahead. Honestly, there's not much for me to break down in this fight. Either they rebook it, but this will be at least the third time that they would try and rebook this fight for whatever reason. But honestly, there's not much else to say in this fight besides either rebook it or give it someone else. Moving up on this card. This one I was happy about. Jesus Aguilar defeats Luis Gurule via unanimous decision. I believe it was all 29-28. If not, one judge had scored 30-27 for Aguilar. All in all, I thought Aguilar would actually do more in the grappling than he did in the striking, but honestly, his striking was very good in this fight. His ability to throw in some combinations was really good. His calf kick was the name of the game, as by the third round, Gurule's calf was terribly red. And I don't have anything in front of me, but it was like tomato red or something like that. It was getting bad. But eventually kind of stopped after the third round, which kind of annoyed me. That being said, third round, he dropped Gurule with a jab, followed up. Then he went for that ghillie he likes to go to. I mean, he's got a good squeeze, and he's finished a lot of fights with it. But it's just better setup, or at least keep attacking. So, though, you could see at times Garule would make Aguilar pay for some mistake. Like, there were times Aguilar was just going full hands down, trying to act very swaggish, if you will, just like to rely on the head movement. It wasn't too bad as he was mostly out of Garule's range, but some people were going to make him pay for that, for sure. So I didn't think Garule was it, and I was, at the time, I said I was shocked by the odds, and there, where we go. Jesus Aguilar is a proven UFC winner. Maybe he doesn't fight to the best of his abilities. He does have some fight IQ problems I've seen, but he got the win at the end. That's all I care about. Where he goes from here, they might give him another really fun fight, since, you know, there's no real boring Jesus Aguilar fights. I don't say a shot at the rankings, but him and Andre Lima would be quite a fight. I would consider that one. As for Luis Garule, I say one more fight, and if he loses that, I'd probably cut him, but I don't know who off the top of my head, but no, I wouldn't. Oh, I was gonna say Sung Young Park or something like that, but he's fighting Bruno Silva. I'm sure it would come to me. Anyway, moving up on the card, Tatiana Suarez defeated Amanda Lemos via unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. Oh my god. Is it just me, or does it seem like Suarez has regressed as of recent? Now, I don't take it too much that you lose to Zhang Weili, who's literally the best in the world. Or at least I think she is. But if Amanda Lemos is able to reverse position and crack you with big shots when you are supposed to be the best wrestler in this division, there's some problems. Now, granted, Suarez showed she was much stronger as she was able to pick up Lemos a lot in this fight and just take her down and hold position for at least the first 2 rounds. But there weren't as effective takedowns as I thought there'd be. I thought, could shoot for the hips or something like that. But a lot of them were just grinding to the fence, scoop the butt, pick up, and then take down. Not much variety. And even then, when she was leaning across, Lemos at times seemed to pull off a good gilly. Like, there were times she was like, you know how fighters just trap them to try and get them into guard? Well, she kind of did that, but her back is by the fence, so she's using that to stand on, wraps her legs around Suarez and tries to go for the ninja choke, but not enough time left. It wasn't going to happen. So, though, Suarez deserved the win, but not impressively. I'd say a fight with Yan Xiaonai makes a lot of sense. I mean, they could give her the winner of the title fight just because, it could sell, and besides Weili, she was supposed to be possibly the next champion, but, that didn't all pan out. So, I think a fight with Yan Xiaonai makes the most sense. If not, maybe Tabitha Ricci. As for Lemos, it's like she's just trading wins and losses at this point. I'm trying to think, because she's fought just about everybody. I mean, except Yan Xiaonai, too, but that wouldn't make sense for her to try and fight up again. Only thing that would make sense for me is instead they give her Tabitha Ricci and Suarez Yan Xiaonai. Or maybe Gillian Robinson if she can get a win over Yasmin Lucindo. Other than that, I can't really see much else. Moving up on the card. Joaquim Silva defeats Claudio Puelles via split decision. 229-28 for Silva, 129-28 for Puelles. Boy, Puelles honestly surprised me how good he was in the first round. Or at least I was surprised how strong he was, because he literally was just picking Silva up, who was a physical beast of his own right, and just taking him down. And then at that point, it was just mostly ground control for all the first round. I can't think of too many sub attempts, and maybe one mat return, but mostly positional control and ground and pound. Second round, it seemed like it was going to be much of the same story. He picked Silva up again, took him down, mostly planted him on his side. And it seemed like it was the beginning of the end for round 2. But then Silva started getting back up and landing some good teeps to the body, some very powerful punches overall. And it seems like, I don't know if it's a mental thing or literally his body just can't take it, but Puelles cannot take much damage in any way, shape, or form. He just starts curling up and giving bad reactions all around. I honestly just don't know if he does not have much durability to him, or is it just a psychological thing of not wanting to get hit. And then in the third round, it's looking like Claudio's going to win. He's landing some actually really good shots in stand-up, but then Silva drops him and hurts him by the end of round 3, and at that point, that kind of seals the round. So I understand Silva winning. All in all, Silva, he's very entertaining, and there's definitely some fights for him. Maybe they give him Diego Ferreira, just a fun Brazilian type fight. And as for Puelles, 3 fights in a row, but one of them is to Dan Hooker. 2 of them are split decisions. I don't think they cut him, but maybe give him Chase Hooper. It'd be a fun grappling match, that's for absolutely sure. Not Jim Miller. So the good win by Silva. Moving on the card. Dusko Todorovic submits Jose Mendia in the first round via rear naked choke. Like I told you guys, Mendia is not UFC level in the slightest. Not in the slightest. Dusko, granted, is not that good either, but I said he has UFC wins. He's a proven winner at this level, and he had something that, and offensively capable, that there's no way Mendia was beating. It was, in this case, the clinch game. He also threw like a good right hand that I think that cut Mendia just about here. And then eventually, I can't remember if it was Mendia trying to take down Duskos or Duskos like using a trip in the sweep, but eventually he's able to get the back and slip palm for palm and latch onto the rear naked choke. And then Mendia just tapped. I mean, it was in, there was nothing he could possibly do. And you could see him visibly angry. He obviously knew that he's probably going to get cut from the promotion. There's just no other way about it. I'm trying to think, what do we give Dusko? I mean, they could give him somebody to just build hype, like, oh my god, could you imagine they give him Atier Gutier? Just like, fuck you, Dusko, we don't like you at all. That's essentially what it would feel like. Because they can't give him someone too high level. He doesn't earn that. But it's got to be one of the middle-of-the-road middleweights. They could feed him Kelvin Gastelum. Or give him Dustin Stoltzfus. I can see that. Yeah, Dustin Stoltzfus makes a lot of sense to me. As Jose Mendia, fuck, cut him. I'm brutal commentary. I'm brutal for a reason. I'm brutally honest. And Mendia is not UFC level. He shouldn't have been in this promotion. And if he keeps going the way he is, he's just going to get hurt. He's just going to get hurt. It's going to take a lot of punishment by a lot of really, really elite guys. And even the least elite, like Duskos. So, yeah, just retire. Or, sorry, not retire. Go to regional MMA. Or, hell, BKFC. His style is loved there. Just in your face, hands down, brawling. Just, yeah, BKFC. That's perfect. Perfect. Moving, and that was our feature prelim, too. Go figure. Moving up, we have our main card opener. Santiago Luna knocks out Kwang Lee in the first round in an absolutely exciting fight for as long as it lasted. Man, Santiago Luna's got a chin on him. First round, literally Kwang Lee lands a head kick that skims off the top and rattles Luna, and then lands a left hook about the same time. It's looking like he's going to get Luna out of there as Luna's whiffing on these takedowns, and they're relatively the same in strength in the clinch, but that durability of youth really came into play, and Luna eventually just ate what shots he could, landed his own, and Lee didn't have the same durability, and was eventually knocked out with some wild hooks. I mean, he's now the second youngest fighter on the UFC roster at 21, and from what I see right now, he's really, really good. I don't know if he stays at bantamweight. He made the weight just fine. He looked great. Or he could easily stay at featherweight. Either one does not hurt him in the slightest, but my God, that chin. I do worry about his defensive lapses at times, and like, is he just going to rely on his chin because he's young, or does his chin get worse as he gets older? I'm not sure. I just know that that's some concerns, something that he'll definitely have to shore up as he gets older into this game. But right now, he's an exciting prospect to watch. That's for sure. Moving up, Alexander Hernandez knocks out Diego Ferreira in the waning seconds of round number 2. I thought Ferreira won the first, landing overall pretty good punches, being the aggressor, landing some really good kicks. Hernandez had his moments at times, mostly from southpaw, left hands to the body, and occasionally when he switched back to orthodox, right hands to the body and up top. But again, I thought Ferreira just had better pressure, better striking, especially his kicks. Second round comes in, and it's more or less the same until Ferreira overcommits on, I believe, they were in orthodox, so it's about a left hook, and Hernandez crashes into Ferreira with a big right hand, stuns him badly. He hits kind of the canvas, and then at that point, Hernandez starts laying waste with accurate ground and pound shots. They were vicious, and like I said, all of them hit. Just about all of them hit. And I was kind of shocked the ref didn't stop it early. I thought it was a late stoppage, if you want my opinion. But, give these fighters as much chance as possible. We've seen, even crazier comebacks, Franker, Maynard 2, shit like that. But I didn't see that happening, not for Ferreira. He was just out cold at that point. This is easily the best win streak of Alexander Hernandez's career. There's a long stretch where he was just super inconsistent, trading win, trading loss, 2-fight win streak, 2-fight skid, that kind of stuff. Now he's greatly improved his record to 18-8, 4-fight win streak. Those last 2 being knockouts of Chase Hooper, who was who was surging, and Diego Ferreira, a wily veteran who's only lost really to the best. So this is a great win for Hernandez. Now, he called out Michael Chandler. I don't think he gets that fight. I think they'll probably give BSD to Chandler before they give Hernandez to Chandler. So they could give him someone else in the rankings. I could see, I could see a Grant Dawson fight or a Roofy fight. But, that all depends. He might have to win one more to get a shot at the rankings. But Grant Dawson or Roofy makes a lot of sense. As for Ferreira, I'm not too sure. I'd like to see him retire just so he doesn't take more damage as a 40-year-old who's turning 41 pretty soon. But I'm not him. I'm not his manager. I'm not his coach. I'm not nobody to him. So he can do whatever he wants. I just think he should probably retire. That's what I would hope for him. Moving up. Salty about this one. Kelvin Gastelum defeats Dustin Stoltzfus via unanimous decision. I think it was either 2 30-27s. No, I take it back. 1 30-27 and 2 29-28s, I believe. I thought I was so confident in Stoltzfus, and he had moments where he really made me believe okay, yeah, I was right to pick him. He was landing some pretty good shots, that right hand specifically, and when they were on the ground, he was clearly better for most of it. He was going for submissions, guillotine or Kimura, had a pretty good sweep too. Overall, he was looking like the better grappler, and Gastelum missed weight by 6 pounds, 5 pounds. Yeah, he was 191. A welterweight missing weight at middleweight by this much. Especially one who's been in the UFC as long as him. And that's 2 wins that are pretty illegitimate because, that's 2 times he had to miss weight to get this win. What else can I say? It's inexcusable at this point. Inexcusable. For as long as he's been in the UFC. And for as many fights as he's had under this promotion, how many times he has missed weight and had to change weight classes because of this. To do it at this point now is just inexcusable. Now, in defense of him, if we're talking about his performance, he said, I only had 4 weeks to prepare and all that. If you know you're not going to make the weight, then don't agree to it. Because at that point, it's wasting everyone's time. It's wasting your time specifically because you're going to have to give up a percentage of your money or not fight at all if you can't make weight. So, if you can't make the weight, don't accept because it'll be a huge waste of time. That's a guarantee. Now, like I said, in defense of him in terms of his performance, his hand speed was really good. His boxing ability, more so to react once an opponent lands, is still great. He hit Stoltzfus with the same counter he hit Bisping with, where Stoltzfus overcommits on the right, and then Gastelum just pulls out a jab, and immediately falls with the left cross. I mean, that was, and like I said, his reactive boxing, especially counters, airs, and hits the head, were fantastic. But Stoltzfus, pretty damn tough. I think his nose got busted in round 1, or at least bad enough to start bleeding. But he never quit. He kept fighting. He fought through a beating in round 2. And in round 3, it was mostly Gastelum. He landed the better shots. Most Stoltzfus had, in terms of striking, he landed a really good right hand at times, and doing pretty good kicks to the body. But like I said, man, Gastelum definitely had better boxing, overall better striking. It's just the weight miss, inexcusable. There's nothing really one can say to justify it. It's just It's just terrible look. It's just terrible look. But he gets a win, so he's staying in the UFC. And for sure, they're going to let Dustin Stoltzfus stay, because that was a really fun fight. He puts on really fun fights. Now, as they give him, like I said, Dusko Todorovic, boom, problem solved. Gastelum, either they force him to move up to 205, which would be terrible for him, or he gets his shit together and fights at middleweight again and again. And as for who they give him middleweight, that's a really tough. Christian Leroy Duncan wouldn't be terrible. Brad Tavares, two tough guys. That'd be kind of interesting. Something along those lines, because I don't know, he doesn't really deserve many big fights after that. At least not for me. Moving up. Rafa Garcia TKOs Jared Gordon in the second round. Boy, apparently before this, like the day before, Gordon got hit by a car. He got hit by a car or was in some sort of automobile accident. I don't know if he was in a car or the car literally hit him, car to human. But all I know is that he got hit by a car the day before this fight. And you could see it, that it affected him, because I think it was his left leg. He had to wear a knee brace. Knee brace. No. I take that back. A knee sleeve. That's how I meant to pronounce it. But boy, you gotta be one fucking tough human being to still take a fight after dealing with a car accident. And, I'm sorry. It was not round 2. It was round 3. My apologies. But, still. Gordon was winning the first 2 rounds off better boxing. Now, Garcia proved to be the better wrestler. It took Gordon down at times. But Gordon immediately got back up. He was still fighting pretty admirably. It's just Garcia had much better striking than he had originally shown us. And in the winning second round, he did what Donchenko did. Intercept with an elbow, or elbow off the break, and immediately cut Gordon right in the center, or blood coming to the eyes. It's pretty gnarly to watch, all things. It was pretty gnarly to watch. But Gordon was still winning the majority of it, but by the time that elbow landed and Garcia made the adjustment, then he really started to pour on the pressure. Eventually, he drops Gordon, hits some very mean ground and pound bullets, just gushing at that point, and then he gets a modified rear naked choke. I don't know how Gordon got out, but I think it was more so Garcia let go just to finish off with elbows, and at that point, Gordon was done. This is a great win by Rafa Garcia against a guy like Gordon, who, has not had decisions gone his way, but clearly showed he could hang tough with the best of them. And now Garcia's proven he's better, or at least was the better man of that night. Who did they give him? Honestly, this lightweight division is so stacked with different people, it's kind of crazy. Nicholas Mota would be a really fun fight. Or the winner of Tom Nolan, Charlie Campbell, because I think if Tom Nolan will win, I don't think they give him a ranked shot, but Rafa Garcia, Tom Nolan, that's definitely got some interest to it. Or Terrence McKinney, that'd be fun. Jared Gordon, if him and Jim Miller haven't fought yet, him and Jim Miller would be fun, 2 older guys. That'd be kind of interesting. I'd be invested, for sure. Man, it's just really tough to hear that car accident and how bad that might have actually messed him up. You just hate to see it, because if he was 100% healthy, does the fight go differently? I'm not sure. I can't tell you. I'm not a mind reader. I don't see in the future, but I definitely say the fight would have at least played out somewhat differently. Now, moving up to the co-main event. David Martinez arrived. He beats Rob Font via unanimous decision. I think it was all 30-27 or no, 29-28. Hey, my memory's a little hazy on the exact scoring. I know who won and I know how the verdict was read. But David Martinez, like I said, he arrived. He beat the number 9 ranked Rob Font on short notice in his second UFC fight. I mean, what more can you say? He was spectacular. His kicks were lightning fast. He was hitting Font on all levels. When he started opening up his own boxing, he had great success, especially with the left hand when he was in southpaw. Sometimes the right hand when he was in orthodox, but mostly his southpaw was doing pretty good. And like I said, man, those kicks were lightning quick. His takedown defense was pretty good, but Rob Font isn't that good of an offensive wrestler. Now, Rob Font had his moments. Not saying he didn't. Especially in the first round, it looked like he really hurt Martinez. Maybe I'm wrong, but one of his winging shots with his right hand, I thought it hit the back of the head as Martinez is swinging too, so it was like involuntarily, but it happened. Or maybe it was just like the Mohawk line. Either way, he hurt Martinez pretty good in the first round, but it wasn't enough. And Martinez just started gaining momentum as the fight went. He had fantastic cardio. Fantastic. And he just surviving the storm is not a term or phrase I want to say. It's not really make sense, but I'd say he survived he survived the veteran lesson, and he made it out of the first round after getting hurt, and then went on to win both rounds. Now, most people scored the first round for Martinez. I get it. He landed more shots, even with getting hurt. Now, they gave Rob Font the second round, which that made sense, I suppose. Font was mostly pressing him against the cage and going for takedowns. But honestly, I thought Martinez won it just based off better striking. Third round, he definitely won. And overall, I was just really impressed by the skills of David Martinez. I knew he was good. I knew as he grew in this bantamweight division, he would definitely get some more wins, probably fight for a ranking. But to do that on your second fight in that short of a notice, that is impressive. Who do they give him this, though? That's the question, because he'll either be number 9 or just under. Could they give him the winner of Deiveson Figueiredo and Montel Jackson? I could see it. Do they give him Song Yadong? I could see it. Or they give him the loser of Chito Vera versus Ayman Zahabi. That I could definitely see. Still, though, sky's the limit for Martinez. Doctor by day, fighter by night. At 29? Or 29 or 27. He's got a long time. He's going to be in the rankings for a long time. And he's really, really good. Moving up on the card. Diego Lopez TKOs João Silva in the second round. And one of the greatest fights this year, the absolute cinema meme. This was a great fight all the way around. There was not one moment this was not exciting. This was not fun. This was chaotic and bloody. It was amazing. From the moment they were walking to the cage to the end of the fight, it was all bad blood, bad intentions, and just trying to fuck up the other man in front of me. That's all it was. It was glorious to watch. It was like watching a 25-minute fight with the amount of damage they had in the span of less than 10 minutes. First round, they're pretty even in the striking. Oh, and by the way, this was really cool. Silva's doing the one, touch gloves. And you could see in Lopez doing this. One time. I'm not playing those mind games. Now, granted, I could be reading too much into that, but still, I thought it was pretty cool. So, first round, it looks like Silva's doing really good at some measuring jabs and throwing these front kicks to the face of Lopez. they seem to be doing it as Lopez do. It's well known at this point. Lopez has like a tick, something he can't control. I think he said there was an accident where he used to work that caused an injury to his Adam's apple, and now he constantly does this when he's fighting. It's just a tick that some people can't control, and he can't with his. But it seems Silva was timing front kicks off that. Was one of them hit, smacked in the face. But then he goes for a spinning back fake, and Lopez jumps on that back and immediately gets Lopez down. And eventually, he's in full mount, and transition kind of to higher mount, where it's like his legs are wrapped around more so the sternum and the chest area instead of like around the waist / stomach area. And Lopez is doing head to chest to keep and having his C grip on Lopez's back while he's in mount, and just kind of pressing his head to the body so that he can't get elbowed. But 12 to 6 rules, baby. Lopez just starts raining down elbows, one after the other. Cuts like the top of Silva's head, bleeding. And I'm worried he's going to get finished in the first round. I'm like, oh, shit. But then luckily, Silva kept moving, kept trying to position. Now, Lopez showed he is fantastic grappler, especially when he's on top. It's tough to shake him off. But eventually Silva is able to fight through it and turns up the heat on Lopez and starts landing some shots in the final 2 minutes to... No, I take that back. I apologize. Minute and a half to minute of the first round, but it was clear Lopez won that round. You could easily score it at 10-8, as he was close to finishing on numerous occasions, and it was just amazing to see. Second round comes in, and Silva's looking fantastic. Starts doing better with defending the takedowns. There are times where he would roll with Lopez in order to get away from him. And then he started landing so many shots. So many knockout shots, too. Like, Lopez ate some really hard hits. So he would start making a jab and just keeping it from range, where he would pop Silva a few times. Or when Silva would lunge in, he just kind of hit face first to the enclosed fist or the rangefinder. But then he made a great adjustment, kind of leaning away from the punch, coming over the top of a right hand, leaping left hook. And like I said, one of them, you literally can't land a punch better than when the punch hits him in the jaw and literally goes through him. Diego Lopez might have the best chin at featherweight. I'm not even kidding. I know, like, there's Ortega and whatnot, but Brian Ortega's been close and knocked out multiple times. I mean, Lopez knocked him out and woke him up in the span of a second. Lopez did not... Well, I'll take that back. There were some shots that hurt him, and he was definitely looked stunned, but he more or less ate through him very well. His chin is amazing. He might have the best chin at featherweight right now. Not of all time. That's tough to say in this weight class specifically, but man, the chin on Diego Lopez is something to behold. Because John Silva is looking like one of the best strikers at featherweight. I mean, just those right hands, left hooks. He throws some spinning elbows at times. Not all of them landed. In fact, most of them would just graze Lopez, but still, he was looking like the best striker at 145, or one of them. But then, I think this was in about a minute in, or a minute left, Lopez starts swinging wildly, and then, Silva was starting to swing wildly across the cage while Lopez was skating around, and then throws his own spinning back elbow, lands square in the center of the forehead of Silva, drops him. It cut him bad, and Lopez just started wailing with ground and pound. Absolutely vicious. And eventually, the ref, Beltran, steps in, waves the fight. Silva is a mess. Blood running down the front of his face, swelling on here. He looked like a grape. Honest to God. Like all those purple lumps around him, the blood. I mean, I take it back. He looked more like a tomato that had some punctures into it, or just like a messed up tomato, because of the, oh my god, all the blood that was on him was absolutely horrifying. And then we had some like post fight bullshit where Lopez was arguing with Silva's corner. They had a confrontation like a day or two before Saturday, and I know they did not like each other. And then Silva kind of pushed Lopez as his back was turned. I don't like seeing that. You don't like seeing that. I wonder if the athletic commission is going to punish him for that or just give him a hard warning. They'll fine his purse for sure. But what can you say besides, holy shit? How good is Volkanovski? That's the best question after this event, because he made Lopez, relatively speaking, easy, or at least he styled on Lopez like nobody else. Not Mozart, who beat him. Volk did so good against Lopez. I mean, there's nothing else to say. And like I said, how good is Volk? He's that good. He was able to survive the worst that Lopez could give him, and was so much better. Was just better than him. Just better than him. And Lopez did that to John Silva. I mean, he's in an odd position. We don't give him a title shot after this, with Volk as champion. He might be able to earn it back, but everyone, and I assure you, everyone would love to see him versus Yair. They got beef. They do not like each other, and they are both exciting as all hell. That will be a great fight, and that could be another, like, if they decide to go back to Mexico or in UFC Noche, something like that, then they could book Yair versus Lopez. Either way, I want to see that fight. It's the only fight that makes sense. Their beef is real, and they hate each other. I guarantee they do not like each other. Silva. Rough loss, for sure. Definitely going to need some time off just to heal up and get better. On his way back, he could fight the loser of Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Salal, or Dan Ige, David Onama, some in the top 15 like Giga, David Onama, Pitbull, Ige. Like, those names make sense. They make sense for Silva. Like, someone in the top 15, He tried his shot at top 5, he didn't get it, and might as well defend the ranking. Still, though, all in all, that was my reaction to UFC Noche. All in all, like I said, 6 out of 10, I thought. There were some great fights. That main event was a treat. That might be fight of the year. It's certainly one of the best fights this year, without a doubt. But, there's just some fights that did not entertain me. Alice Pereira definitely spoiled that mood for me. What other fights can I think of? Manolamos versus Suarez. All in all, I thought most of the fights were good. That's why, like I said, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, that's the best I can give it. Not all the fights entertain me, and compared to the last card, it's hard to follow up after the last card we had, but is what it is. Like I said, though, main event might be the best fight this year. Certainly one of them. One of the best 2-round fights, if not the best fight to end in 2 rounds I'd ever seen. And as I mentioned before, I would mention in the Terence Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight. In the boxing match, the first one held at Zuffa, and that took place in Las Vegas, Terence Crawford defeats Canelo Alvarez via unanimous decision. It is the Terence Crawford era. He is the best boxer of this generation. And I think if he were still around, he would beat Floyd Mayweather. I mean, what else am I supposed to say besides Terence Crawford is the fucking man? He did. Nobody in the history of boxing has ever unified 3 weight classes. Now, granted, he did that by beating Alvarez, who, unified those belts and been the long reigning super middleweight champion for years. But what Crawford did, he made Canelo look average. It's what he does. In the fights where he is expected to face his toughest challenge and or quite possibly lose, like against Errol Spence, or in this case now, he rises to the occasion, and makes his opponents look average. Honestly, Canelo didn't do much for me. Like, he won some rounds. He won 4 and 5, and he won the closer rounds like 9 and 10, somewhere around those lines. He had some good body shots. His forward pressure was still really good, very calculated, but Crawford was just putting on a technically masterclass display of positioning, shot selection, combinations, and accuracy. Honestly, it's like his jab was great, especially when he was in southpaw. That left hand he landed on Canelo, making his whole head turn, was spectacular. There's just nothing Canelo did that Crawford didn't do better. Or some things where it felt like he was just shut out of his game because Crawford wouldn't let him do a thing. There's no debate. No debate. Crawford is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world right today. He's probably going to be it for a long time. And if he were to retire today, I would not blame him. What else does he have to do? What else does he need to do to accomplish what he's done? He has cemented himself in the Boxing Hall of Fame for doing the first no one had done, like I said, unified 3 weight classes. And I think he was either the first or Nyon in a way was the first, but he's one of only 2 men to do it twice. He's now the only man to do it 3 times. And did so without much adversity. To be honest, I didn't see him struggle much at all. I mean, you think of the only 2 people who have beaten Alvarez, Mayweather, and Bivol. Now Crawford. Crawford's one of the best. He's one of the best boxers ever. And it's been proven tonight. Or, as I'm saying this, yesterday. There's no debate. There's no debate. And it's a pleasure. Me, as an MMA fan, as I thought, UFC Noche had some better fights than the boxing match, and that main event was a vastly different fight, but vastly, I thought, more entertaining. To do what he did would be the essential of someone from, like, bantamweight winning at, like, lightweight or welterweight. Something most you would think would be impossible to do. And Crawford did it. My proverbial hat off to the king. He is the best. What else can I say besides he is the best? I don't know if he fights again. He could retire, or they do a rematch and make even more money. That's certainly a path to avenue, or that is certainly an avenue to take, I should say. Either way, whatever he chooses, he's set for life. He can box again. The rematch is always a possibility. I wouldn't mind it. And like I said, they can make a shitload of money again. Or he retires and, say you retired at the Pinnacle. Either way, Crawford's got plenty of choices and none of them look wrong. Now, with that being said, that had been my post-fight show for both Canelo versus Alvarez and UFC Noche. If you liked the video, comment and subscribe. I'd like to hear your thoughts and overall, what you think of UFC Noche? Would you give it the same score I did? Would you think it's better, worse? What'd you think of Crawford Canelo? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And overall, let me know how you did on this card. Me, not so good. Going in order, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 8 wrong? Yeah, 5 out of 8. 5 out of 13 right. Not a good look on my second attempt at YouTube. All in all, when I done it outside of this channel, I was doing really good this year. But, I don't have any physical proof of that besides my word for it. All I can tell you, though, not the best card I've been on in terms of predictions, but hey, there's always next time, and at the end of the day, this is just for fun. This is just to see how good I can do and how better I can get. We won't have any UFC next week, but I think I'll be releasing some videos. I definitely want to release a video talking about the month of October and what we look forward to, because October is going to be so much fun, ladies and gentlemen. So much fun. But with that being said, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. Thank you all for listening. Take care.